IPS officer and Vice President of BJP Tamil Nadu, Shri Annamalai ji. Heartily welcome to you to Bangalore and to our office, sir. I request our MP and Dr. Sandeep, BJYM Karnataka President, to please felicitate Shri Annamalai ji. Thank you, sir. Heartily welcome to our Member of Parliament and Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha President, Shri Tejasvi Surya ji also.
So I'm gifting your MP a turmeric that is grown in a farm in Tamil Nadu by a farmer called Saravanan in Setumalai.
Right, right.
Pure nature is organic one, so a gift from Tamil Nadu. And this is our Bharatiya, wonderful Bharatiya. So in his new role, he needs Bharatiya. So it is for him.
The trend in politics is changing lately. From Ladakh to Kanyakumari, youth are getting into politics, and BJP is leading this transformation of politics. In this regard, today we have with us Shri Annamalai ji and Tejasvi Surya ji for a very fun-filled discussion which will involve politics, nationalism, different questions. We also have a good gathering here in our office today, and we have multiple questions which are posted online also. So we'll just take it forward from there. To start with, Annamalai ji, a question for you. You were a cop, you were in the system, you were in the government. Being in the system, you quit the service, you come to politics. And I'm pretty sure you see a significant role that needs to be played by youth in politics today. How do you see the youth engagement in politics today across the country? What are your views regarding that?
It's a very simple data that we have. The median age of the Indian population is very low, probably about upwards of 32, 33, 34. And Tejasvi Surya ji, our MP himself, is a very prime example. When leaders of that age come and connect with the bulk of the voters are below 40. So you represent their aspirations directly without any hindrance. So that is the first positive thing I see. When you compare with other political parties, BJP as a party, it is one step ahead of how the country is changing. It is always one step ahead. It finds youth of great potential, gives them positions, accelerates them, and makes sure that other youths, they revolve around them. That's how the party has grown, right from 1950 till now in its different avatars. And I believe India itself is becoming an aspirational country. It's becoming an aspirational country. No more people wanted to take things lying down. Everybody is aspirational. And when youth represent that aspirational class, come and sits in positions of power. I see your youth Adhyaksha here. I see all the youth people here. I see all people not connected to politics, but still 20, 30 of them sitting in this MP's office, which is a role model office, I believe. There is a group of youth sitting there running projects on behalf of the MP. Another group of youths doing internship here. This is unlike in an MP office. This is more like a corporate office. But here, only because they got connected to a youth, and maybe they're not associated with the political party, but they're still getting the things done. That's a larger canvas in which I see things, youth and politics in India.
Right. That's a very interesting answer on, how youth, when they come into politics, other young people in the country will connect. I guess we have the next question from one of our people who are sitting in the audience. In any case, I'll just carry forward. Probably we'll take that question. So, Tejasvi, this is a question to you also, being in mainstream politics and electoral politics. Youth getting into politics is a very good thing, we all agree. But there is a very significant question which is posed online also by multiple people. Getting into politics in their 20s, early 30s is a very challenging thing for people who come from middle class or lower class of the society. People who come from the rich class, they don't have to worry about anything else. They can do social work, they can be on the field, get into politics. But for a guy who's in a middle class family or a lower middle class family or a poor background, it's always a question for him on whether to come into politics and work here or earn the bread for house. How do you see that a youth who's from a middle class or a lower middle class family in today's scenario getting into politics in his late 20s or early 30s? What is your take on this?
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸುಮುಖ್. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಚೇರಿಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮೀಯರಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಸಿಂಗಮ್ ಅಂತಲೇ ಖ್ಯಾತಿ ಪಡೆದಂತಹ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡೂ ಕಡೆ ಜನರ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನು, ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಗೆದ್ದು ಯಾವ ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ BJP ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಜನ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ತರ್ತೇವೆ ಎನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ರಣಧೀರನ ಛಲವನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವಂಥ ಅಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರಥಮವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಚೇರಿಗೆ, ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೋರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಯಿತು. ಈ ಸಂವಾದವನ್ನು ದೇಶದಾದ್ಯಂತ ಜನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೇವಲ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಜನ ಯುವಕರು ಅವರನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಸಂವಾದವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯತೆ ಇದ್ದಿತ್ತು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಸಂವಾದವನ್ನು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಖುಷಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅಣ್ಣಾಮಲೈ ಅವರು DCP ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಸೌತ್ನಲ್ಲೇನೆ. ಅದು ನಮಗೊಂದು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷದ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷವಾದಂಥ ಅಭಿಮಾನ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅವರು ಅದರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಪೋಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಚಿಕ್ಕಮಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ನಮ್ಮೂರು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗಿಂದನೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅದೊಂದು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಸುಮುಖ್, ಯು ಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಈಸಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್. Politics, unfortunately, in the last so many years, has become a rich man's game. And because it's become a rich man's game, it is also being infected only by dynasty politics. And this is a vice versa cycle. Politics is rich, politics is expensive, and you have to spend money, which is why only those people who can spend that kind of money can get into politics. And who are those young people who can spend that kind of money? Those kind of people who inherit that kind of money. And who are the people who can inherit that kind of money? The ones whose father or grandfather has made money through politics. They are the ones who can come into politics. This is the sad state of affairs in India's politics today. So forget contesting elections. A person coming from a middle class family, I wouldn't even go to the lower middle class or poor background people. Even coming from families where parents are in service jobs, people are in monthly salaried jobs, their children cannot even dream of becoming MLAs, MPs. My story is an exception. But we need more of these exceptions to become the norm. And we need more and more stories of Narendra Modi, who comes from the most poor families and who shows that they can rise to the highest of offices. That should become the norm. And today I do not see any other political party other than the Bharatiya Janata Party effectively pushing for reforms, whether it is electoral reforms, whether it is intra-party democracy, whether it is encouraging young people in politics. No other party is encouraging these things. So what happens is, the ones who are karyakartas will remain karyakartas all their life. The ones who are children of political leaders, they become leaders overnight. Because you have baap ka paisa to invest in politics. So until and unless we break this chain and encourage young people to take up mainstream electoral politics, and that is not an easy job, we need electoral reforms which will make elections less expensive and more affordable to people. Unless those systemic changes happen, this will not go a long way. This is not just in politics. I was talking to a friend of mine who is working in the movie industry, an aspiring actor. The same thing happens even in Bollywood, happens in other media industries. We have been witnessing after Sushant Singh Rajput's death, we were hearing debates of nepotism. What is nepotism? You may be a great actor, you may be extremely talented, you will keep on giving hundreds of auditions every day and keep getting rejected. Whereas another person whose father is an actor, he will say, hey, you can take my daughter or take my son in your movie, cast him in your movie. I will give 10% stake or 15% stake and I will also produce the movie. That is why those people who do not have this kind of money will not get opportunities to become great actors. So if you look at Bollywood, if you look at Telugu movie industry, Kannada, any movie industry, you will find generations, actors' families. Grandfather was actor, father was actor, now the child is also actor, and the grandchildren is also becoming, child artists. Does that mean that there are no other capable people, talented people who can emote well, act well in those industries? Of course there are. But they don't get an opportunity. The same way, are there no capable leaders? Is there no better young leader than Tejasvi Yadav in whole of Bihar? Are there no young political leaders than M.K. Stalin in Tamil Nadu? Of course, there are hundreds and hundreds of capable young people, but they do not get platforms and opportunities. One Annamalai has come today in Tamil Nadu who will take Tamil Nadu by storm and show what people like M.K. Stalin in their place. That is the kind of change that we need. So all of us, my commitment as the national president of the Yuva Morcha is to bring more and more young people coming from the most modest of backgrounds, most humblest of families, and make them the strongest of leaders for the country. And together as young people, as educated young people of the country, we must push for electoral reforms that our Prime Minister is speaking about. Whether it is one nation, one election, whether it is one nation, one electoral rolls, whether it is state funding of elections, electoral bonds, all of these are systemic reforms aimed at making elections more transparent and less expensive, which will bring more young people into the country. So this is what we should all do. It's a big task, but if we can't do it, nobody else will.